Hey guys, welcome back to my channel Garden on My Mind. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and liking my videos. And those of you who have been watching my videos and liking them and have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. In today's video, I thought I'll show you how my propagated cuttings and stems are doing. The video I made on propagating your cuttings in water, which was about I think 2 months back. The link I've posted it here. And in this video I'll show that because it's been 2 months now, it should be ready to repot in soil. So how to prepare the soil mix and what are the few things that you should take care of in the first 2 weeks, so that the transplant shock that the plant gets from say water medium to soil medium is easily manageable. So let's look at my biggest cutting so far, which I showed in the video. So this Monstera. So this one had 4 leaves, as you can see, very mature leaves with fenestrations, and just look at the roots. These looks like fish bones. So this I'm going to repot it today and show you how to do it for a larger cutting. These are the other 2 cuttings of the Monstera stems or nodes, whatever you might call it. So these roots are not as nice as those, but still. So this is also ready to be transplanted in soil. The roots are big enough now. Some of the other rooting has been good. For example, this Micon, it has rooted quite well, if you can see, and there's also a new leaf coming out of here. Then I had a problem with my Sansevieria. So the first ones which I showed you in the video, it didn't work out, which I did directly in the soil. So I cut the Sansevieria stems again and put it lightly in water, and see the roots have developed. This can be put it in soil now, but for Sansevieria it takes a while to get the roots out. It doesn't come out as fast as say a Monstera or other philodendrons. This one was another Sansevieria. I cut it in between, across, and see this feather-like roots. These are roots actually. So this also can go into soil. If you remember, this was the Hoya carnosa with the white variegation, and it rooted very well, if you see, in 2 months, and it already has a new leaf, and some other new leaves are coming out. We had these, I forgot to fill the water, but it is doing well. This is the Brazil. The leaves looks really healthy. This one is Enjoy Potho. The root development is very good. So I also cut this Addisona, if you remember, and the roots have developed really, it has really matured now. This was the Philodendron Lemon Lime. We did the cutting and the roots have developed really well. But we always do have our own failures. Like 2 of my cuttings didn't work out. One was a rubber plant and another one was the ficus. Because I think I had already mentioned that for the thicker stems or the harder stems, we need rooting hormone. And I had not put rooting hormone before I put the stems in water. So those 2 didn't work out. But the node from where I cut the ficus and rubber plant has, developed leaves and new nodes. So that is a good thing. So now let me show you how to repot or transplant your cuttings from water into soil. So let's start with the bigger one, which is this Monstera. So when you think about the size of the pot, right? So this obviously would need a bigger pot because it needs to balance the plant. But for the other cuttings, you need to remember that since the cuttings are small or the root system is very, lighter than this one, so you need to put them in a smaller pot. For this one, we will take this is about 12 inches wide. And if you look at this looks perfect. It should be able to hold the weight of these, 4 big leaves. And I think there's a new leaf coming up. So this should be good enough. And now that we have to transplant this into the soil, let me talk about the soil mix. So I use a combination of red soil, coco peat, compost which is organic. I either use a leaf mold compost or a worm casting. Then I add perlite. To that I add charcoal, your wheat husk and little bit of cocoa bark, and give it a nice mix. It is a very well draining soil and it can be used across all kind of aroids, philodendron, etc. Because I generally feel that the soil needs to be well draining so that it prevents the root rot. And the proportions or the percentages of this soil mix is given in my description box, so you can just follow that. So the next step is we have this pot, and if you see, there are 2 drainage holes here. They are not much, so I would not cover it with any plastic or say stones. These 2 are good enough to drain the water out. And now I'll add soil, say about 1/4 at the bottom, and then add the cutting. One pro tip that I would like to give you guys is that since it is monsoon in India, try to collect the rainwater if possible, either from your balcony or your ground or whatever that is, or your terrace, because rainwater is the purest form of water that you can give to your plants. And I have been doing that during this monsoon season. So you must be thinking that it's a beautiful plant and it is in a recycled pot which is already like faded. It was actually brown pot, it has become like almost white. So what you can do is always try to recycle any of your plastic pots, because they have a very long life. And what you can do is you can buy cover pots. Like I have this one, in which I'll put this pot, and it changes the whole look of the plant. So always buy nice cover pots and recycle your plastic pots. So pothos, what I'll do is I'll take this size pot. I'm taking a wide mouth pot because I want to put a lot of cuttings so that I get a much more bushier plant. See this one. So there are about, I would say, 7-8 of them. I'll take some of these. Yeah, I have a lot of pothos cutting. So this would be about what, 20 plus, or maybe around 20 cuttings. So what I've done here is I have just laid down those 20-25 cuttings in the soil, and I'll just add the extra soil to bury the roots. So now that we have planted the stem, the node cuttings, I'll water the pot. One more variation of my soil mix for succulents would be that I take the existing soil mix, details of which you can see it in the description box, and to what I do is I add the pumice stones, which are nothing but volcanic rocks, which provides a lot of aeration to the soil for a plant like succulent. So what I'll do is I'll show you how I transplant this into this nice terracotta pot. So now this becomes my succulent soil. I also wanted to show that what happens when we do that cutting, right? So this is the fiddle leaf, but I told you that the leaf didn't survive, the cutting didn't survive, but it developed a new node from the left side of the stem, and these are entirely new leaves which grew after the cutting. So you can imagine within 2 months the leaves are so nice, like shiny and green, and they grew very fast. And I'll show you how my monstera is doing. So the cutting is at the back. I'll just move it. Oh, so heavy. So last time when I made the video, the plant was this side, and if you see, this was the cutting. So if you look closer, this was the cutting and this was the new node that came out of here, and it has already given me a brand new leaf, and all this has happened in the last 2 months, which is like incredible. So this is the rubber plant we cut last time. As I said, it didn't survive, but what it did was it has now started a new branch from this side, and it already has like new leaves, but as it grows, the leaves will also grow bigger. Now this plant, what will happen, will branch out and look more bushier. So two very important things that you have to keep in mind. So the first thing is that the root need to grow at least an inch or two bigger in size for it to get replanted into soil. Second important thing is that once you replant into the soil mix or potting mix, make sure you keep the soil moist for another 10 to 15 days. Don't let the plants dry out completely, because you're changing the plants from water medium to soil medium, so they will take some time to adjust itself. Last but not the least, you must be thinking that when to fertilize your plant. I would say wait for another 15 days till your plant actually adjusts to the soil, and since we have already put the organic compost, either leaf mold or worm casting, so these are slow release fertilizers, so it already has the fresh 25 to 30% of the fertilizer in it. So I would say after 20 days you can start using the liquid fertilizer, like I had mentioned in my last video. The link is given here, and you should be good. Hope this was helpful to you. Thanks for watching once again, and if you have any comments or questions, please leave it in my comment box. And people who have been watching my videos, please do subscribe to my channel and give me a thumbs up. So till next time, happy gardening. Bye.